And that really is just one of the tens or hundreds, maybe thousands of resilient stories that unfortunately we don't get to hear a lot about, because they're not covered by media, or because of security concerns, we can't really share their stories.
Yes, and thank you so much for sharing that with me. Um,
There's
in what ways do you think the Taliban's ongoing restrictions on public expression, now from limiting attire to prohibiting women from having their voices heard in public, how does that impact the cultural identity of Afghan women and their sense of self?
That's a very long discussion, and it's just from a psychological standpoint, the damages that have been done to the women of Afghanistan in the last 3 years might take generations to repair, because there was a brief period of time when women in Afghanistan got a little bit of fresh air. Afghanistan has traditionally been a very traditional country, so women had barely gotten that opportunity to express themselves freely through media, through choice of occupation, in arts and entertainment, in medicine, in technology, in fashion, and pretty much for the first time in the history of Afghanistan, there was this opportunity for women to be who they really are. Small opportunity, but opportunity nonetheless. And that was snatched from them. And so the psychological effects of that, it could be studied for many, many years. The losing of the sense of self. I hear stories, actually, not just stories, but my own experiences when I was in Pakistan. If I needed to go out of the house, not because my family didn't trust me, but because the tradition actually required so that I would go out with a male figure, even though I would carry that male. He was so much younger that I would carry them in my arms. But as long as there was a man or a male person with me, I would feel like I'm protected. So that kind of psychological effect on somebody to always feel unprotected unless you're accompanied by a man, that is not going to, it's going to, the effects of that is going to be felt for generations. And just imagine wanting something so badly and getting it, and then somebody coming and snatching it from your hand. So that really is something that we would have to, it's a very long-term concern and a long-term problem that needs very long-term solution for it.
Yes, and I can't imagine how challenging that must have been for you to navigate through that. And I think you're very inspiring. Sorry.
Thank you.
As a stand-up comedian, you've created a unique space for yourself in a field that's rare for women from Afghanistan. How do the Taliban's restrictions on public expression for women, sorry, how do such as bans as, sorry.
Good thing we're
live. Let me try again.
Sure.
As a stand-up comedian, you've created a unique space for yourself in a field that's rare for women from Afghanistan. How do the Taliban's restrictions on female public expression, such as bans on singing in public or reading out loud, impact this space and your work?
I really don't think much about that anymore, because even before the Taliban, just as I mentioned earlier, Afghanistan is a very traditional country, and female comics, even in the United States, have a very hard time being taken seriously. We're comics, but we want to be taken seriously.